In our commencement ceremony. It is my privilege to introduce filmmaker, alumnus, and a friend of mine, Mr. Andrew Jenks.
You know, I remember I was sitting here 4 years ago, and I was pretty much just thinking one thing. Damn it gets really hot in here. Some things never seem to change. I first want to congratulate the class of 2008. Getting through high school certainly is not easy. In fact, I think it may have been one of the hardest experiences of my life. Kids make fun of you, Bales makes you figure out these crazy math problems, and Mr. Mans makes fun of you also. So, I just want to bring up 3 points here today that I've learned from my experiences since I sat where you guys were sitting 4 years ago. My first point, and it may sound silly, is that I really think all of you should do what you want to do in life. If you enjoy acting, become an actor. If you want to be an architect, go design the most elaborate buildings. You're only going to live life once, and if you do it the right way, once is enough. But if you're going to do what you love, you're going to have to work much harder than if you were to do something that you don't love. A lot of people don't always follow their dreams because it's just too difficult. Exactly 1 week ago, around this time, I was in Los Angeles, filming a movie about a popular rock band. A friend called me and he said, "Man, your life is so easy, hanging out with rock stars, going to parties at hotel pools, and riding around in limousines." And while it sure was fun, I woke up every morning at 6 a.m. to set up the equipment. At 8 a.m. I would interview fans on the street. At 1 p.m. I would film the band eating lunch. I would still be filming up until 3 a.m. when the band's parties finally usually ended. Around 4 a.m. I would watch the footage I had shot. For about 1 week, I was sleeping 2 hours a night. Those who are the most successful in their careers aren't necessarily the most talented, but they are always the hardest working. Will Smith once said, "I've never viewed myself as particularly talented. I viewed myself as slightly above average in talent." He said, where I excel is with a ridiculous, sickening work ethic. While the other guy's sleeping, I'm working. While the other guy's eating, I'm working. And while the other guy's on vacation, well, I might be on vacation, but I'm working on vacation." Will Smith does what he loves, but he works harder than anyone else at his craft. If there's anything that I've truly learned, it's that whatever you want to do in life, it will always be doubted. The second point I wanted to make is that people will always tell you that you can't do something, or that it's impossible. Whether it's trying to major in a really difficult field, or trying to start a business with no money, or even something like asking a girl or guy out on a date, people will always say no. I think what's significant about today is that from here on out, you guys can try and accomplish the impossible. From the second Mr. Mackin hands you that degree, the only person that is stopping you from accomplishing your dreams is yourself. After my freshman year of college, I decided I wanted to make a movie about what it's like to live in a nursing home. I called dozens of nursing homes and assisted living facilities throughout the country. Over 30 different facilities said no until finally, a place in Florida said that they would let me film. After I made the movie, I went back for my sophomore year of college, and I began showing friends and professors the 90-minute movie that I had made. People were less than receptive. One of my college professors wrote me a long 2-page email telling me that nobody would watch old people for 30 minutes, much less 90. He said that it was a nice attempt at making a film, but nobody would ever really watch it. I was down and out, I was ready to give up. My first attempt at making a movie had failed. Well, 2 days after my professor sent that email, HBO called and bought my first movie. The day HBO called, I learned one of the most valuable lessons I've ever learned. Most great ideas will always start with someone telling you that you can't do it. Failure is one of the most important parts of life. I have made 2 movies, but I've had dozens of film companies and TV networks tell me, no way. This week alone, MTV, Warner Brothers, and 4 other TV networks said that an idea of mine wasn't for them. But if I'm lucky, next week, I can ask another 10 companies the same exact thing. Don't be afraid of failure, and don't be afraid of risk. Follow your dreams and never let anyone tell you that you can't. In life, you can follow a path, or you can make your own and leave a track. The next few years will be your last chance to experiment freely with almost no risk. If you're going to college, change majors 5 times if you want. And if you find something that you love, don't worry about what kind of job it might lead to or what you'll get paid. If you're good at something you enjoy doing, there will always be an opportunity for you. If you're not going to college next year, don't rule that possibility out. Some people benefit more from school when they're older and more experience in the real world. The third point I thought worth bringing up is that just when you think you have it all planned out, you probably don't. In fact, you probably never will. I'm sure many of you have images and ideas of what next year will be like, but don't be surprised if it's vastly different when you arrive at your new college or your new job. A little over 1 year ago, I pitched ESPN an idea about making a TV show on a professional rugby team in Pennsylvania. I walked into a big meeting with a bunch of executives and told them of my grand idea. I was pretty excited. They quickly said no. Nobody wanted to make a TV show about rugby, a sport Americans know very little about. On the subway ride home, I told my buddy about this idea I had, about making a movie on Bobby Valentine, a popular American manager who lived in Tokyo and was one of the biggest celebrities in Japan. My friend laughed. He said, ESPN just said no to a movie that cost less than $20,000 that we would film in Pennsylvania. I don't think they're interested in sending us to Japan. Well, 2 months later, my 2 friends and I were on an airplane to Tokyo. We went to ESPN, hoping to produce a $20,000 movie in Pennsylvania. We ended up making $1 million movie in Japan for 8 months. In life, there are going to be a lot of curveballs thrown your way, and you can either strike out, get mad, and be confused, or you can take that curveball and hit it out of the park. Surprises in life are inevitable. Sometimes they'll be surprises that hurt you, that make you feel bad, but sometimes a bad surprise can lead to a good one. Always be prepared for the unexpected. Before I finish, I just want to say one last thing. Never forget where you came from. You may not know it now, but these last 4 years will help define who you are. You may not be the same person 1 year from now. In fact, many of you will have entirely new friends, new interests, and be immersed in a world far from Montrose, New York. But you should always use these last 4 years as a reference point. I really believe the second you forget where you came from is the second you lose track of who you really are. Never forget the person you were that day you got your high school degree. Thank you for having me, and again, congratulations.